In 2022, I made almost 20,000 sales on Amazon Merch on Demand alone, and about half of those sales came from text-based designs. A big part of success when it comes to text-based designs is font selection. And in today's video, I'm going to give you my top 5 font recommendations based on what I actually use that actually makes sales available on Creative Fabrica. And I'm going to link to all of them in the description. So let's get right to it. First, I wanted to share 2 things really quickly. If you're on Windows, this is how you install a font after you download it. So hit your Windows key, type font, and then drag and drop your font files where it says drag and drop to install, and that's it. That's all you have to do. Second, a lot of times when you're browsing fonts on Creative Fabrica, the designer of the font gets to upload a depiction of the font, typically in a way that looks a lot better than what it looks like when you just use it right out of the box. All right. So sometimes what you see in that picture is not exactly what you're going to get, at least not with the default settings. I just wanted to make you aware of that. If it happens to you, it's not that you did anything wrong. Oftentimes there's some additional customizations required. Now, the first font I wanted to recommend, I'll actually show you how you can do some of these customizations. Font number 5, so I'm doing them in reverse order. My font number 1 is my premium, like go-to font from Creative Fabrica. Font number 5 out of 5 is Good Vibes. And what I like about this one specifically is that notice where it says Duo font, it actually gives you both components to replicate what you see in that photo. So right out of the box though, if you just have black text on a white background, you're going to see what you see in the top half of my Photoshop canvas right here. It's just kind of some, I don't want to say ugly, but it's just some like bubbly. And by the way, you know, in terms of like what designs you use this for, I mean, use your imagination. Obviously the 60s, 70s style, like vintage retro, I don't know what to call them, like 60s, 70s kind of bubbly retro style designs. This goes hand in hand with those. I don't necessarily, like when I'm using it, I'm typically using it in more of the, you know, if you guys remember like the best sellers that were big last year, and a lot of them had very similar kind of color schemes. I don't know how to describe it other than complementary to what I would consider to be that font family in that era of like 60s, 70s. So this like gradient pink is not really the colors I would use them in, but I just wanted to mention that if you see it looking really good in the photo, but then when you use it, it's just like meh, it's just boring. Well, try matching it to what you see in the photo. So when I applied the pink gradient, I got that. And then I said, okay, well, what's missing? I look at the original photo in Creative Fabrica and I'm like, oh, there's some text in the middle. And if you guys look at Etsy, a lot of designs, not that these don't do well on Amazon too, but on Etsy specifically, this sort of like duo approach to text only designs where you can have the big bubbly text in the background and the script font in the middle. Font number 4 is called Sporty Grunge. And this is probably more of like a me font. I don't know how many of you guys go after the like athletic niches. For me, it's kind of sticking to what I know. And for me, it's even more niche down than that. I am pretty public that I love me some NFL football, some fantasy football. For me, it's more like a year-round thing. And I love going into the fantasy football niches that I think are fun. Now, I'm not infringing on the NFL, but football as a sport and fantasy football as its own, you know, hobby or whatever it's called. I don't know what to call fantasy football these days, but as its own thing, you know, there's lots of different ways to attack it. And having a nice font that fits the overall vibe is a must, I would say. It also just makes your life easier to have a font that kind of fits the theme of whatever, you know, niche you're serving. So Sporty Grunge is number 1. It's a sporty font. It's got the athletic look to it, but also I love distressed grunge pattern fonts. I love them because I think they sell, by the way. It's not just because if they didn't sell, I wouldn't tell you I love them. I love them because I've been using them for years and they're making me sales. So this combines those two and I'm all about it. And again, I'll link, if you guys want direct links to these fonts so you can just go click and download them, because I know a lot of you guys use Creative Fabrica, I'll drop a link to them in the description. Font number 3, this is called School and Chalk, and I've been using this for a long time. My initial rollout of my online courses, I made like a little kind of thumbnail for my course videos, and it used this font, so that's what I always initially think of when I see it. But I just like it because for targeting like young school age kids, which unless you guys have been living under a rock, a lot of sales take place for school as a niche, but also kids, like kids and teachers. Let's be real. It's like the two sides of it. But the designs that target kids, I feel like often kids aren't the ones buying the shirts. It's the parents, and the parents, like, I don't, because as a kid, I don't even know if I would like this font, but I feel like parents that are doing the shopping for the kid in the kid niche, the kid themed design, they love these. Like, we're not that far from the 100 Days of School niche being huge, and a lot of designs that were selling pretty well were using this exact font. All right, it's not a coincidence. All right, before we get to font number 2 and font number 1, a quick reminder, I have a free print-on-demand mini course redesigned for 2023, relaunched, so take advantage of that. It's linked in the description, and check out my print-on-demand Facebook group. It's also down there. Font number 2 is called Hello font. It's just called Hello. I don't know what really to say about this font. I think everybody that is doing design regularly needs a good script font in their toolkit. For me, after trying, I don't know how many different script fonts, you just kind of got to find some that you like that fit whatever design style you're trying to create when you use script fonts. Like, for me, I don't use script fonts all the time, but when I do, I like to just kind of know which one is my go-to. I actually have a plug at the end of this video for Juna Detour Shirts. You guys know Detour Shirts, friend of the channel, because he is a professional graphic designer. So whereas like I have my 5 go-to fonts and I don't really need that many fonts as go-tos, I like to keep things simple, make it easy on myself. He probably has like 500 fonts memorized. All right. And actually, I mean, I do have a bunch of fonts memorized from when I was a web developer, but they don't translate into print on demand. So they're up here, but I'm not using them with print on demand. I don't think they translate well, but they look good on websites, a lot of them. So anyways, Hello font is like my go-to script font. And if I'm doing more of like a bubbly, girly design, is it safe to say that anymore? I don't know. I'm probably going to lean towards the Hello font as like my go-to for a script font. All right, and then font number 1 probably comes as no surprise if anybody's been subscribed to my channel. I've been using the Edmund texture font. So the Edmund font, but when you download the Edmund font, guys, there is one variation that's textured. All right, it's got the distressed factor. It's a nice, big, bold, easy to read, distressed, which we know, I can't say we know definitively, but like for sure I have a strong lean that using a distressed font in the right circumstances, in this case, like a text-only design, like I'm assuming, by the way, when I'm talking about these contextually, that it's like mostly going to be used in text-only designs, but also it doesn't have to be text-only. You can use any of these fonts I just shared in combination with graphics, but like the Edmund font to this day still works. Like if I go look at my Amazon merch sales, like on my side monitor, that's where I keep my merch. I bet you I've made probably minimum right now today, probably at least bare minimum 5 sales using Edmund font. Like 5 is literally the absolute low end. By the end of the day, it's probably like 15 sales out of the 40 or 50 merch sales I'll make today. So Edmund font comes with like my highest recommendation, if not for any other reason that it works. Isn't that why we're here? We want to make sales. So no need to second guess things. When you got a good thing going, just go back to the well. And I just keep going back to this well. So I'll link to that in the description as well if you guys want to check it out. Detour Shirts, shout out to him, friend of the channel, Juna. He is a professional graphic designer. He's everything I'm not when it comes to design. So I'm going to drop a link to his channel in case you guys want to go over there because he's like 10 times the designer I am. But of course, like I'm still out here making sales. So hopefully that can at least inspire you that if you're not a great designer, it's okay. And if you don't have a bunch of time to like either make your own graphics or find good graphics, do text only. It's better than nothing. And don't forget, last thing I'm going to say before I leave, an unfilled upload slot, whether it's on merch, Etsy, wherever, Amazon, Redbubble, an unfilled upload slot does not make any sales. So get out there and fill your upload slots, even if it's simple text only designs with the Edmund font. All right. Sorry if you can hear the dogs in the background. I'm currently watching 5 micro chihuahuas, so pray for me. I got like 4 hours of sleep last night. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Check out my full print-on-demand course linked in the description, my private community, and hit that like and subscribe button on your way out, and I'll see you tomorrow with a new video.